happy Thursday. I'm student meteorologist Tevin Wooten, and welcome into FSU Weather.
And I'm student meteorologist Margaret Hollis, and again, welcome. We're almost done with the week, and we're almost done with the semester, too.
We are almost done with this current semester. It is April 20th, a gorgeous April 20th, a hot one at that.
Yep, definitely getting warmer as we're getting towards the end of the semester here. Not quite cracking 90 yet, but we're certainly getting close.
I think some car thermometers and the bank thermometers might be saying 90, but you have to remember those are exposed out in the sun. But either way you look at it, it is certainly hot out there. You walk outside for 2 minutes and you're sweating and certainly feeling some heat.
I've been getting sweaty walking to my classes, even my morning classes at 10 in the morning. I'm getting sweaty walking to those. So the heat is starting to come back.
It's here, and it's probably going to stay, too. Speaking of here, we are also in the midst of an early outbreak for tropical weather season here for the United States and the immediate surrounding area in the Atlantic Ocean.
Hurricane season officially doesn't start till June 1st, but if there's a system that develops with the right characteristics, it will be named, and we will have more news about that later on in the show. But now we're going to send it out to Jennifer at the wall.
Thanks, guys, and it's certainly feeling like summer, starting to get a bit warmer. Current temperatures right now, 84 degrees with some partly cloudy skies, and dew point staying low at 61 degrees, keeping our humidity at a nice, reasonable 46%. And looking at the satellite and radar, very clear across Florida and the southeast. A little bit of pop-up showers around New Orleans, but overall clear skies, making it a little bit dry across the region as well. Tonight's forecast, 63 degrees with partly cloudy skies, a warm night, kind of trailing along with the typical warm nights we've been having these past couple of days as well. Weather headlines, another warm day ahead. Rain chances do increase with a coming front that's coming through on Saturday night, but sunshine coming through next week. So with that, we're going to head it back over to the desk with Tevin and Margaret.
Thanks, Jennifer. Taking a look at that sunshine that we're expecting for the early half of the weekend, at least. We do have an event that's coming up this weekend that's being organized by people around the greater Tallahassee area, the March for Science.
Yeah, and this is a part of a national event. The March for Science is going to be taking place, one of them, here in the capital city of Tallahassee. It's put on by the Tallahassee Scientific Society, and it starts at 11 a.m. and it goes until 2 p.m. And what it is, it coincides with Earth Day, of course, because a lot of scientists actually, care about we're good stewards of the environment.
Yeah, a lot of scientists want to make sure that either the environment itself is cared for, say, local rivers are kept healthy, or that people are able to stay healthy. So scientists from all disciplines are going to be participating in this, just to say that they want to keep their funding so they can continue doing research for the good of everybody.
Yeah, so it starts at 11, and it kicks off at 11 at Anita Favors Thompson Plaza. That's a mouthful, but that's across the street from Cascades Park. At noon will be the march to the Capitol, and then from about 1 o'clock to 2 o'clock that afternoon, there's a panel of speakers that will be speaking, well-known scientists that will be speaking at the steps of the Capitol. So it's going to be a great a great event with a great forecast. And speaking of forecast, we've got a more local look at your forecast from student meteorologist Sami Squires.
That sounds great, guys. Yeah, we're going to look at our current conditions. We are sitting at 84 degrees right now, and our dew point is at 61, and our humidity is at 46%, and our wind is at 6 miles per hour. Our high temp today was around 85 in the Tallahassee region, all the way up to 88 in Bainbridge and Mariana, and 81 over in Apalachicola. The current winds are going in kind of a clockwise rotation of 6 miles per hour over in Tallahassee, and Monticello is 3, so not too big of a difference for this region, but in Apalachicola near the coast, it's 10 miles per hour. The satellite and radar is showing a little bit of cloud coverage to the south of us right now, and we can see the front is starting to develop near us. The water vapor pressure, the water vapor, up until tonight, you could see that it's moving up quite a bit, which is bringing a lot of moisture into our area. Speaking of moisture, our soil moisture, you can see this dry patch right in the center of Florida, and it gets a little more wet near the coast. but Tallahassee is sitting in a kind of like a light pink range, and that's very dry. Our watches and warning consists of, we have a red flag watch over in the Fort Myers, Naples area, and especially in Collier County, I know they're having a evacuation for the fires that are going on, especially over in Collier County. Wind 5 to 10 miles per hour for the beach tomorrow, 2 to 3 feet for the waves, and our water will be comfortable at 76 degrees, but we have a very high UV index of 8. And what that means is make sure you have your sunscreen tomorrow, especially if you're going to the beach. Tampa is at 10, which is very, very high. And over in Jacksonville as well. Tonight's forecast, 63 degrees, partly cloudy skies, and a mild evening. So it will be a nice evening if you are going out. Tomorrow's forecast is 87 degrees, a mix of sun and clouds, much like today, above average temperatures. In our 5-day forecast, you could see some chances of rain coming in, especially Saturday and Sunday, where we saw that front that will be moving towards Tallahassee. 20% on Saturday and 60% on Sunday, lowering our temperatures back into the 70s for Sunday, Monday, and a beautiful Tuesday. So now I'm going to hand it to Margaret, who's going to talk about the Southeast for us.
Sammy, yep, we're going to zoom things on out to the rest of the Southeast here, sitting at 84 degrees here in Tallahassee and similar temperatures across most of the Southeast. 83 in Orlando, 88 in Montgomery. It's the hottest temperature that we're seeing. Some places a little bit cooler, 74 up there in Atlanta, but overall it is warming up as we're getting into late spring, and you can even see that in our 24-hour temperature change here. Orlando's 3 degrees warmer right now than they were this time yesterday. Wilmington, 9 degrees warmer than this time yesterday. Atlanta, on the other hand, their temperatures have dropped 4 degrees since this time yesterday. They're also seeing a bit of rain in the area right now, though. And behind the banner, if we could see back there, we would see that there is more rain, and that's associated with a front that is going to start making its way further to the east and to the south, and it's going to bring in more rain to this the deep south, which really does need it. Right now, though, we're sitting under this area of high pressure with these winds flowing in a generally clockwise direction. Those 12 miles an hour out of the east in Orlando, and then as you go to New Orleans, and it's more out of the southeast, and then Little Rock, it's out of the southwest. You get those clockwise winds here in the southeast. That high pressure is keeping our skies clear and also relatively dry. This upper level water vapor, the areas of bright green are where there's the most water vapor, and you see that over the Gulf, but it's relatively neutral, getting into a little bit of the drier orange color here across Florida, Georgia, and Alabama. So we are seeing that drier air here across the southeast, which is letting those temperatures rise. And our drought monitor, it's not doing anything for the droughts, especially up in North Georgia, where they have been in a more extreme drought for the past couple of months now. It's not helping South Florida either with those wildfires down in South Florida. For tonight, we're looking at getting down to around 61 degrees here in Tallahassee, those mid-60s across most of the southeast, 64 for Orlando. A little bit warmer down Miami and the Keys, up at 71 and 73. But overall, it is relatively temperate down there. For tomorrow, warming right back up. The sunshine returns, 87 degrees here in Tallahassee, as well as Orlando, Savannah, and Montgomery. Tupelo and Little Rock, though, are starting to get in on the rain activity with that cold front, and their temperatures are dropping with it. 81 for Tupelo, 78 for Little Rock. And now I'm going to send things back to the desk with Sammy and Jennifer.
Thank you, Margaret. And there's a tropical storm in the Atlantic Ocean right now. As of 5 p.m., Tropical Storm Arlene had developed into surpassing winds of about 39 miles per hour. And it's the first named storm since April of 2003. Actually, both storms developed on April 20th.
Yeah, very interesting. There's currently no threat to land, which is good for us. Mm-hmm. It's deep in the Atlantic Ocean right now, so we should be fine. And luckily, there's currently no threat of it becoming a hurricane. So,
And yeah, the max winds are right now currently, sustained winds are at 45 miles per hour, and it's moving to the west-northwest at about 25 miles per hour as well.
and to become a hurricane, it would have to be 74 miles per hour.
Great then.
So, yeah. Hurricane season is actually June 1st to November 30th. So we definitely have not hit that mark yet. So it's very early of a storm to come in for us.
Yeah, and the hurricane season, like you said, starts June 1st through November 30th?
Yes.
Right?
Yep.
Through November 30th, and really tropical storms don't really develop this early, not early in the season, but before the season actually happens.
I know. Yeah, it's really a record-breaking thing, especially last year, Tallahassee, we had our first ever hurricane. So let's see what comes for the year ahead.
Yeah, we will see what comes ahead, and with the tropical storm that's coming, we'll see if it probably won't affect land at all, but you're expected to give us a local forecast.
Yeah, let's see what that's all about. Our current temperatures are sitting around the mid-80s all around the Panhandle region, except for the coast of Carabel and Apalachicola, high 70s, which is expected. In Bainbridge, it's all the way up into 86 degrees. So it's a lot warmer. Our current winds are moving around 6 miles per hour over in our area, and by the coast, it's 10 miles per hour and 8 miles per hour over in Carabel. Mariana is at 0 right now. Very interesting to see. Our dew point is at 61 right now for Tallahassee and 58 in Monticello. And what that means is we are in the comfortable range for our area, but it is in the uncomfortable range, especially in the south right now. The satellite and radar is showing a little bit of cloud coverage below us, some pop-up storms, especially throughout the rest of the weekend, especially on a Sunday, where you will really have to look out for the storms. Our radar is showing some pop-up showers, especially below us, and we have chances around 20%, I think it is, on Friday. So it's definitely something to look out for. If you need your umbrella or if you're walking to classes, because we are starting to get that ocean breeze, the sea breeze coming up towards us. And then Saturday into Sunday, we're going to see that front move over in our direction. Our day planner, we're going to have a beautiful morning tomorrow, 61 degrees if you have an early class. Some clouds are developing throughout the day, but we're going to have a warm afternoon, thankfully, around 85 degrees. Our evening forecast is going to be 61 degrees in Tallahassee and 65 over in St. Mark's. So generally all around the low 60s, which will make it a beautiful night for us. Friday's forecast will be 87 degrees, which is well above average for our area. Winds 10 to 15 miles per hour. So it will be quite windy too come. The next 5 days, we're going to see some cloud cover developing and actually some rain Saturday and Sunday, 20%, 60%, and Monday, when the front will finally pass through, it'll be 77 degrees for us. Tuesday, beautiful day to come. It's going to start warming up and be back into the 80s once again. And now we're going to see what else is to come around the National.
All right, thank you so much, Sami, for that. Yeah, we talk about the local forecast. Now let's get a little bit to the why. We like to break things down here for you here at FSU Weather. So we'll start with the current conditions right now. And all across the south, we've got this high pressure in place that's really warming everything up with the exception of this cold front here. And you can see behind the cold front, temperatures already about 10 degrees cooler than ahead of that front because of the wind direction shift. Down towards the south, though, we are in about the 84-degree region for Tallahassee, 84 New Orleans, and up to Washington, D.C. at about 78 degrees, Miami at a chilly 77 degrees. Here's a look at the drought conditions today. As was mentioned earlier, North Georgia, some extreme drought conditions. South Florida also not near a shortage of drought conditions either. So really, if you are anywhere in this orange or yellow or even the white, depending on exactly what your county regulations are, you probably would want to double check before you go out and burn anything. And speaking of watches and warnings, we've also got some flood advisories and warnings. This is for southwest Missouri into Kansas City and down towards through Tulsa, Oklahoma, and Oklahoma City in that area. Some flood watches there. And then over here we have some red flag warnings and advisories for Albuquerque, New Mexico, craft advisories off the coast of San Francisco. And then here in Detroit, you see this. We've also got some severe weather warnings because of this system right here, a low pressure system near the Great Lakes, and that cold front stretches down right through about Arkansas right now. You can see it as it progresses, but a closer look at that front, that's bringing some severe storms with it, packing somewhat of a punch. It's not too bad. We don't see any tornado warnings right now, but certainly bringing some much needed rainfall to those areas that do not have it right now. And then also, speaking of rainfall and cooler weather, near the Seattle area, they've got some snow in the higher elevations on the eastern or the western side of the mountain. You're going to get some snow, or some rain rather, and then it's going to progress up to snow the higher elevations you go. And then for airport delays, 52-minute delay. This is in New York, so everything going along smoothly across the board. Some goose eggs, so that's certainly some good news. And then tonight's forecast for the United States. The cold front continues to move towards the east. 67 for Dallas tonight, 69 for San Antonio. Look at that. Denver at 38. Salt Lake City, Utah is at 37, and so is Minneapolis. Down towards here, back home in the 60s and 70s, depending on what part of Florida you are in. And then tomorrow's forecast, the heat continues, and so does the front that stretches all the way from Boston down to Memphis and back into probably some portions of North Texas. Going to bring some rainfall with it. But that's a look at the national forecast. Now let's send it back to Sami and Jennifer at the desk. Girls.
Thank you, Tevin. And finals week is slowly approaching, and I hope everyone's starting to start the studying up.
Yeah, that's what I'll be doing this weekend, but I know there are numerous activities going on this weekend at FSU. We have the Relay for Life that's starting Friday. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, Relay for Life is starting at 6 p.m. on Friday and going through Saturday morning as well. And many groups, including the American Meteorology Society chapter, one of our local meteorology chapters, is also participating in the event, and including the AMS. And also Florida State has raised over $200,000 currently, so hopefully we're raising a lot more throughout the weekend as well.
That's great, and it's all going towards cancer, which is a great cause. Other activities include, we have the tennis match against Virginia Tech, 5:30 on Friday, so maybe before you head over to Relay for Life, go check out tennis. And they also, if you can't make that one, they have a game on Sunday as well.
Yes, they have a tennis match on Sunday as well at 1 p.m. And if you're going to head out to Relay for Life, keep a lookout for Sharknado as well. The AMS chapter is also doing that. And I actually am giving you an Around the Florida look. And current conditions across Florida are looking very warm. 85 degrees in my hometown of Tampa, 80 degrees near Jacksonville. If you're anywhere near Orlando right now, 83 degrees as well. So overall, generally warm. Warm weather is increasing our fire activity going on across Florida. Collier County as well as Glades County, they're in a fire watch right now, a fire warning right now, and also a different watch going on. There's a small craft advisory out near Key West as well. But overall, this dry air and soil we have is increasing our chances for fire, as well as the winds. We have increased winds going on down in South Florida, 16 miles per hour near Miami, 14 miles per hour, an east wind in West Palm Beach, just increasing the chances for fire going on in southern Florida. And as we look in the satellite radar, clear conditions across Florida, clear conditions near Tampa and Tallahassee. Overall, a little bit of pop-up showers going on near Miami as well, but fairly clear and comfortable across the state. Water vapor showing us a little bit of moisture, but not too much. A dry area near us, near Tallahassee, going on through current conditions right now. But overall, generally fairly moist, not so moist across the south of Florida. And what is the factors of the fire that's going on? We have low relative humidity, which generally increases chances for increases the chances for fires to happen, and those strong winds making the pushing fire off to different brush around the area of it, and also pre-existing drought. Much of Florida is in a drought currently, so keep an eye out, don't start any fires. And current burns right now, a majority of them are going across central and southern Florida, some up here near Nassau County, but overall generally in the central Florida and South Florida ranges. That's where all the current burns are happening. Futurecast and radar showing us not much precipitation going on through Friday evening, but we will have increasing rain chances with that front that's coming through the area Saturday afternoon and into the evening hours, as well as increasing rain chances going in through Sunday as well. We see that coming around 7 p.m. on Saturday as well. Tonight's forecast, 67 in Tampa, 64 near Fort Myers, 61 near Tallahassee, but overall, it's generally a nice warm night to end our Thursday evening. And with that, we're going to head it back to the desk with Tevin for a nice special interview.
Thank you so much, Jennifer. That's right. We do have a nice special interview. Joining me right now is forecast meteorologist Desiree Connor. I believe, let me get this right, Meteorological Department of St. Martin.
Right.
Desiree, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
And so, as I just mentioned, she's from St. Martin. What that is, that's the equivalent of the National Weather Service, the meteorological department
That's
there.
correct.
So you're contracted out through the government. How does it? Well, first off, where is St. Martin? For those who don't know.
St. Martin is actually a tiny island in the Caribbean. It's located just east of Puerto Rico, and it's just 37 square miles big. And that tiny island is actually split in two countries. We have a Dutch side and we have a French side.
And so you only get about 15 miles between you and your neighbors, your furthest neighbors.
Basically, yes.
Well, again, thank you so much for joining us. Explain to us what you do at the meteorological department there.
What I do is I give forecasts, primarily focused for aviation. So we do lots of tracking for the pilots before they land, while they're landing, and before takeoff as well. We also do public forecasts, and we issue warnings and advisories as well.
And so the picture behind us is actually of one of the webcams there.
Yes, it is.
That shows this. Mm-hmm. How awesome is it to see something like this every day?
It's pretty awesome. As you call it, we are on vacation every day.
And talk about your role in aviation forecasting and what you do for pilots there, and how that's integral into making sure everything goes smoothly.
What we do is we give them the exact monitoring data so that they can know how to calibrate their instruments to the right pressure, the right humidity. All of these different parameters that we normally use in meteorology is actually very important for aviation.
That's right. You were a Florida State alum. How does the climate there different year to year compared to here?
In the Caribbean, the temperature doesn't really differ. The climate itself doesn't really differ. What we do is we have a wet season and a dry season. We don't even have the four seasons like winter, summer, spring. We don't normally have that.
Vacation every day, I told you.
Basically, yes.
And what about the tropics? Starting early now, usually your severe weather season is in June.
Yes, as our severe weather season is hurricane season, yes.
And you're starting now, so how do you guys really prepare for something that could come through potentially?
Well, we prepare the public by getting them prepared with their hurricane kit, and also having them understand what the hazards are with hurricanes.
No matter where you are, it is always important to be prepared. Thank you so much, Ms. Connor, for joining us. And with that, let's go ahead and send things out to Margaret with a check of your forecast.
Thanks, Tevin. That is a great thing to remind people of. It's always good to be prepared for the weather. Today, the biggest thing to be prepared for is the heat. We reached a high of 85 degrees today, which is only a little bit above average and not quite so close to the record high as some people might have thought as they were out and about walking to class today. And it is starting to cool off just ever so slightly, getting down to 84 degrees here in Tallahassee, 81 down on the coast. As we get down to Carabel and Apalachicola, 78 degrees. It's really cooling off there with that cooler Gulf water moderating their air temperature. Other places around the Big Bend, Bainbridge is still up at 86 degrees, so it is still warm around the Big Bend, but it is starting to cool off as the sun begins to set. And our relative humidities are very low. These brown shadings and the relative humidity values in the 40s. It's very dry out there, so with the heat and the dry air, it's very important to stay hydrated if you're getting outside at all, whether it's taking a walk across campus or going for an evening run. With that relative humidity here in Tallahassee at only 46%, very important to stay hydrated as you get outside. And it's dry across the entire tri-state area. There's a couple of little showers popping up here and there, but overall, it's just very clear and dry across the entire tri-state area while we're dominated by the high pressure. That will start to change as we move into the weekend, but with that dry air and not very strong winds, we do have our current air quality. It's not getting up into the unhealthy area yet, but it is starting to get away from that good green air quality. So if you have a particular allergen, keep an eye out for that if you're getting outside at all. And if you are getting outside and just want to know what to wear over the next couple of days, break out the sunglasses. It's going to be nice and sunny on Friday. T-shirt and shorts are a must for Saturday because it's going to be warm. Sunday, though, that rain returns, so break out your raincoats or your umbrellas because we're going to be seeing those showers on Sunday, and you want to be prepared for that. If tomorrow you're lucky enough to not have Friday classes, going out on a boat, winds out of the south 5 to 10 knots, waves of 1 to 2 feet, a little bit of light chop on the waters and those partly cloudy skies, but it's going to be an absolutely gorgeous day if you're getting outside to go golfing. That golf index all the way up at a 4. It's going to be a beautiful day, a little bit warm in the afternoon, but if that doesn't get to you, just bring a bottle of water and enjoy hitting the greens. 63 degrees for tonight in Tallahassee, partly cloudy skies, and for tomorrow, getting up to 87, that mix of sun and clouds. And over the next 7 days, it's going to be relatively nice. We just got to get through Sunday with that bit of rain there, but I am liking the cool down for Monday and even the lower 80s for the rest of our last week of classes.
Yeah, definitely. For Friday especially, we have lots of activities going on, so it should be very nice for Friday night.
It's going to be a great evening for relay with the, it'll be a warm start, but then it'll cool off down into the low 60s. It's going to be absolutely perfect for those people that are spending the whole night out there at relay.
Yeah, but we actually have to look out for Sunday. If you have any other activities going on for the weekend, make sure you have your raincoat, umbrella.
Pack that raincoat or umbrella for Sunday and any outdoor plans you've got there. And as always, if you want to keep up with the absolute latest on the forecast, you can like us on Facebook.com/FSU Weather or follow us at Twitter.com/FSU Weather. We'll be posting the latest on the forecasts there throughout the next couple of days.
Livestream.com/FSU Weather. You could also catch us at.
Yep, you can watch our whole show there if you happen to miss it, or if you live elsewhere or are traveling. And got to give the Instagram a shout out. And for tonight, I'm student meteorologist Margaret Hollis.
And student meteorologist Sami Squires.
Have a great night.